Welcome to Between the Sheets, where we explore midlife and everything in between with Dr. Samantha Worthington and Brendan Neal.
Good evening, Brendan.
Good evening, Samantha.
How are you?
A bit shagged, one may say.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
Oh, far away. What are we talking about?
We are talking about the things people don't say because they are too scared to say them.
Ooh. So people who hold back.
Who bite their tongue. Yeah.
And we're not always talking about someone who wants to respond angrily or aggressively to someone, are we?
No, however, we can talk about that as well.
Yeah.
Now, how does this fit into midlife? Because I was thinking about this topic and I was thinking about what men don't say out of fear and what women don't say out of fear. And I think by the time we get to midlife, sometimes we say things because we lose that fear. And then we have to deal with the repercussions after that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember growing up, when someone looked at a man who wouldn't be concerned about what they say anymore, they'd often call them like a grumpy old person.
Yes. Or a woman is rude or bitchy if she says things, if she's too straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter today actually was telling me that I should have a look at stoicism because I'm a little bit too direct and I should hold back a little bit and be a little bit stoic.
Yeah. I don't hear of many women like quoting Marcus Aurelius.
Well, you're dating the wrong woman.
I hear, it seems to be quite common in men's circles. Secret men's business.
Okay, the Brendan Club.
No. We don't talk about the Brendan Club.
Okay.
Yeah. I always see it as a very, very much a man's domain, stoicism. So I haven't even considered that.
Yeah, well, you're
Interesting.
looking very much at gender stereotypes then there, aren't you? I think, and that ties in with our topic, right? Saying things, or not saying things out of fear. Women often fear that they're going to be seen as hysterical or too emotional. So that's where I think a lot of those teachings come in actually, where, being in control of your emotions, a lot of women practice that. Sometimes it's a strategic thing, especially in the work environment, being able to be in a position where we can, as women, not be seen too emotional or hysterical or, controlling our emotions is something that women think that they have to do. And I'll leave that up to our listeners and our viewers to decide if that's something they want or not.
Yeah.
However, it's a strategy for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I sort of got a confession to make.
Okay.
I think I'm one of these men who predominantly has been a bit fearful of saying what I really think or want to say.
Give us an example, Brendan.
I'll say that mostly in the past.
Okay. Like what?
Yeah. Well,
Because we were touching on this when we decided to do this topic, right? And we were like, oh, it's such a good idea. And we started giggling over things that people don't say out of fear or they shouldn't really say. And we got a little bit carried away with ourselves, right? Like things like, oh, I see you pregnant, when the person's not pregnant. Or, you don't know at that point, when they're like a few months old, if they are, or if they have just picked up some weight.
I didn't share that story with you, did I?
What?
I used to own a restaurant.
Yes.
And a lady came in and with her husband, they were there on holidays. And I was, I get pretty excited when I talk to people and everything. And I said, hey, you're looking fantastic.
Okay.
And she sort of looked at me and I said, wow, isn't your life going to change in a few months?
Oh, my God.
And the bloke just looked at me and stared like, man, you have just ruined the rest of my weekend. And she said,
Oh, no.
yeah, and she knew exactly what I meant. And she said, hey, I'm not pregnant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just, yeah. And I said,
How did you backpedal on that?
Oh, yeah, very graciously.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like stumbling over.
Okay.
There was no go. Where do you go to from that?
My youngest child, oh no, it was my middle one, once commented on the headmaster of my daughter's school, straight to his face, asking him if he had a baby in his tummy.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and that particular headmaster was actually a teacher of my husband when he was at school.
Oh.
So he knew our family well, and he dealt with it graciously. So he just, laughed and said, "Not today." So
Was he bald as well?
no.
Be like a Buddha. So
No, I don't think so. No, I can't remember. However, I think he lost a bit of weight after that, after that comment. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one.
yeah, so I sort of avoided your question, didn't I, quite well?
So when we go through the editing of these episodes, there are a lot of questions that you avoid quite well. And I'm aware of that now. So
Okay. Well, let's not edit this bit out so everyone knows exactly how it rolls, see?
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which question? So you're going to give me an example?
Well, that's what you asked, wasn't
I
it?
did.
Yeah, for an example of when I would hold back and say something.
Yeah.
I think it served me well, though. No, it definitely hasn't. So I'm going to give you a relationship example.
Okay.
And do I have? Can I say a friend's example instead of mine?
Sure.
Sure.
Sure. Go
This is
for
what
it.
I find common with many men.
Okay.
Is that
Lots of your friends have experienced this.
yes?
Yeah,
Many
okay.
of my friends, the people I work with, and everyone.
The people.
Those people.
Yeah.
So if they're in a relationship, especially a long-term relationship, they find that generally it's much easier just to shut up. Don't share your concern about a particular thing because that may put your partner, the other person, in a bit of a bad mood. Yeah. And generally it's like, hey, and this is where I'll confess something. Sometimes I would do that and I'd let things sit to the side.
Yeah.
And I go, you know what? If I don't touch that, it's not going to come back and bother me.
Oh, does
I'll just
it always
park that
come
over
back?
there just for, because for right now, I don't really need the hassle that's going to come with that. So
I've often been on the other end of this in relationships of the omission.
Now, I would say this falls into that category of trying to keep, I won't say immediate gratification, however, just keeping the peace
Okay.
as opposed to long-term happiness.
How did that serve you?
Terribly.
How's your long-term happiness?
Well, in that particular instance, it went pretty well, right?
For the short term?
No, the outcome, the
Okay.
eventual outcome.
Okay.
After a lot of tears and everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I actually did a bit of research for this.
Yes.
Now, normally I would go for peer-reviewed articles and everything. This time I went to, the real source of truth.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yourself.
Reddit.
Okay.
I love Reddit.
Okay.
I would say that there's perhaps only a particular subset of people that offer their philosophy and their wisdom to Reddit.
The ones that can't get into the peer-reviewed journals.
Yes. However, I'd also say that in the peer-reviewed journals, maybe there's a over-bias of the same sort of population for sample data.
Okay. As an academic, I would have to disagree.
I'm just trying to make it feel better about Reddit,
Okay.
Reddit and anyone who gets in there. So anyway, I looked up a whole heap of questions and I may have thrown a few in there over the last few days.
Okay.
And I was looking for reasons why men in particular don't share things or bring up stuff with their partners.
Okay.
Wives, girlfriends, someone significant.
I cannot wait to hear this.
Oh, it was quite insightful.
Okay.
And relatable.
I'm sure.
And it was common to many of my friends' experiences that I was aware of.
Okay.
And maybe some of mine. Yeah. So the predominant theme was, and people explicitly said this as well, they said, if I bring something up in the relationship that I'm unhappy with, I'm treated as though I'm part of the problem because the way it was received
Okay.
was okay, you pointed out something bad or something you're not happy with, and the female, the partner, has felt, well, I only feel that way because you did something to put me in that mood, or you created that environment.
Okay, all right.
And on the flip side of that, the same men, or not the same men, but men in all throughout Reddit,
In general,
also said, when their partner brings a problem, how they're feeling, if they're feeling upset or unhappy or dissatisfied with something, they're looking at it of like, hey, this is the problem that you're causing me. However, by me bringing it up, like the lady bringing it up, I'm keen on solving it. I'm fixing your problem. So
because men are fixers.
Yes. However, so the men felt whatever they bring to the table, it was them bringing their problem to the table that they had caused. That's the way they had been made to feel. And then when the woman brings it to the table, it's like she's already bringing your problem, what you've done.
And you have to fix it.
Well, you have to do something, like the solution may be given to you. If only you didn't bloody snore, I wouldn't be so grumpy. There'd be much more happiness in that bedroom.
Okay, all right. Well, that's really interesting.
It was interesting.
I think that's a very interesting perspective, the male perspective. So jumping into relationships, right? So let's look at relationships first.
Okay.
Right. So talking about, women bringing up issues and men wanting to solve it.
Yeah.
And men bringing up issues and then finding that the woman is saying that the man created the issue in the first place. Is that, am I getting that right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. It could perhaps be the way that communicating, which in general may be quite confronting and therefore defensive. So I think it's the way people bring up things.
I think that's a massive part of it.
I think so too. And as a partner, right, I know that there have been times when things are brought up in a peaceful way, late at night, when my prefrontal cortex is off completely, and all I want to do is have peace. So to bring something to my attention at that time, when I'm trying to, especially after a really long day and 3 kids and businesses and work and everything else, to then put something on my plate when I just want to switch off, I find that timing as well is also really important to having these conversations that we fear having. Really not a great time to drop something on your partner at the end of the day when they're exhausted and all they want to do is have a good night's sleep. Timing, tone, and how you deliver the message, perhaps, in a relationship is important.
I sort of pictured that as I was reading all the Reddit stuff.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of, some of us blokes, we've got great reputations on the way we communicate. Mm-hmm. And I also thought, okay, put yourself in an empathetic position, because I've been there, right?
Yeah.
Where you want to share something.
Right.
With your partner, someone you like, you're genuinely interested in having
Solving
a better
it.
relationship. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
However, there's something there that is a little bit annoying, or
okay.
you just have to deal with, right?
Right.
So in the past, like, I've really struggled with that. I feel more confident now in ways that I'd be able to bring that up. And you made a really good point, and we've had talks around this before. Things like, what you bring up at the dinner table as well.
Yes.
When you get everyone together, you don't want to necessarily make that the place of like
negativity.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not the war room table. It's a place where you want to share and, make it a positive experience for everyone, especially if you've got kids or even just for yourselves. You want to, if that is your downtime and your stop time, you want to keep it quite positive and
relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah. When do you think is a good time to bring up? Because when we bring up something that we don't want to say, we have to first look at the reasons why we don't want to say it. Right? So what are we fearing? if there is something that we want to get across to our partner or even a business colleague, a work colleague, our children, our parents, our friends, we want to say something to them, something that will help the relationship or improve the relationship. So why are we fearing having the conversations in the first place? And there's a reason, or there's a benefit in having these conversations, because if we don't have these conversations, unfortunately what happens in our brain is that our brain has conflicting messages because we feel it, however we're not communicating it, and then we actually build up resentment and stress and anxiety and all the other negative things that happen. So and that impacts the relationship. So what are we fearing, and why do we feel that way? If we're in a relationship or a work relationship or a friendship where we can't have those conversations, why? That's probably the first question. Why can't you have that conversation?
You know, I actually did some reflections on this the other night.
Okay.
Because I was really interested in this topic because
there's something you want to say to me.
You may recall
Okay.
that, you know, probably a year and a half ago or something, I had this cough. And you were quite adamant that, Brendan, it's because you're not saying what you really want to say.
Right. Yes.
And I, you know, disagreed totally.
100%.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that now?
It's interesting, isn't it? However, what the real interesting part of that was that if we were having a discussion about something and there was something for me to say, remember, like you'd ask me a difficult question and I would start coughing.
Yeah, I remember.
Now,
That's how I knew it was connected.
No, I actually spoke to a friend of mine. He's a specialist, so ear, nose, throat doctor, ENT specialist, and he noticed like some time ago, he goes, Brent, you're always carrying a water bottle with you and you take little drinks.
Yeah.
And he said, I used to be the same. And he told me about he used to go and visit his girlfriend and he would, his father would hear him coming to the door before he came because he'd get a bit nervous and he'd have a little cough.
Her father or his father?
He did, the ENT guy.
Oh, okay.
So when he was dating, when he was a lot younger, he would turn up to his girlfriend's place.
Right.
He was still living at home with the family.
Yes.
Yeah, and he'd start coughing.
Okay.
Before he came down. He was similar. He said, I'd take a bottle of water around, I'd have little drinks and everything. And he spoke about, you know, so that sort of like acid reflux and
from stress and anxiety and
the feeling. And he sort of picked that up on me some time ago.
You never told me that.
Didn't I?
No. You just let me sit there and keep telling you what it was and you're like, no, it's not.
Oh, and I kept disagreeing.
Yeah. So did that clear up?
Am I stubborn? It did actually. And I have found that, probably at that time, like without getting too woo-woo, you know, if I went and saw a Reiki healer or someone, they would be going, hey, you got this blockage in this chakra or something. Yeah. And, I think that was a pretty accurate account of like, hey, I was holding on to things and, I would cough or something. Yeah. I mean, unconsciously, we have a lot of body language that goes around when people don't want to speak or they've got something to say and they're holding on to it. Now, I love body language. We live on the Sunshine Coast, and Mr. Body Language, Alan Pease, lives here on the Sunshine Coast, and he wrote that original book called Body Language. Must have been a long time ago now. Anyway, so I've always had this active interest in looking, observing people and asking questions and seeing how they respond. So, you know, when someone is holding on something to say in a conversation, you'll often see them, you know, put a finger up to their lips or sort of like bite one lip back or, you know, there's a whole heap of gestures that sort of indicate they've got something to say and they're holding on to it. Yeah, so...
I better watch my language.
Yeah, my body language gives it away. Yeah. So I find that, as I said for myself, like I do avoid certain things. And so when I was doing these reflections, I was looking back into my past and I was like, well, why didn't I raise these things when they were, at the time, they were significant hindrances to a relationship, let's say.
Okay.
And I realized that the more I looked into it, I was really fearful. Like everything, even when I did approach those subjects, I would have to craft the words around in a particular way because I was anticipating what the response was going to be before I even said anything. So this was a real challenge for me for a lot of years. That I saw it is the way I approach it. And then when you've just said before, hey, maybe it's the way it's communicated, absolutely, because I think things would get to a certain stage and I couldn't hold it in anymore. So it would come out as an accusation or as a negative thing, or there'd be some emotion behind it. Because
So you didn't plan when you would have the conversation in a neutral place with neutral emotions. No?
Well, not even that. Even if I had and tried to, let's say, pick my moment to bring it up, there would have been so much agitation for myself, like hanging on to this and waiting and ready to drop this, that I would have like second guessed every response as well. How will I respond to that initial response? And what are they going to say after that? And trying to pick and weave and dodge through everything before it even happened. So it would come out perhaps in a rush or in a non-particularly thoughtful way.
How would you want someone to communicate those types of things with you? Like that?
Well, like I said, this is when I was reflecting the other night. And also looking at how much I've improved around that.
Yeah. I think in relationships, it's a great idea. And I learned this from living in a home of really fiery personalities, including my own, right? And I think that a great way to handle something like that in a relationship is to have a particular place that you go to as a couple on a regular basis, once a week coffee somewhere where it's just the two of you, where you talk about improvements to the relationship and bring those as if you've spoken about them, as if you've thought about them and you've prepared what you're bringing to your partner in an upward and forward way. Because if you don't have the discussions, then it will come out in an angry way. Yeah.
I thought initially you were going to suggest a space like one of those smash rooms where you take a baseball bat and you smash everything up.
I think you can do that on your own.
Get it out in the room.
That's tough to do. We actually did quite a few of those techniques or activities in self-development workshops where you smash something. I mean, I remember smashing a pillow with a cricket bat and doing it so hard and all the lights were off. So the whole concept was no one can see you doing this, and imagine that pillow is someone or something that's hurt you, and get out all the anger you have towards it until you can't anymore. And I did that for so long, and I did it so hard that the next day I actually couldn't write because my forearms were so stiff banging the cushion. So I think it's really therapeutic. I wouldn't say it's not. However, maybe not with your partner.
Well, one thing I was going to say, it doesn't sound safe swinging a cricket bat around in a darkened room.
Well, you're in a safe space. You're in a safe space. Each of you have your own safe space. Yeah, you're not running around the room. You have a
you mentioned that. Yeah. And the other thing I was going to say, how satisfying is it if you're just hitting a soft object like a pillow?
It was incredibly satisfying.
Or did it feel like a body? Were you picturing someone?
Yes. Yeah. You picture someone that's hurt you
really
deeply. Yeah. It was incredibly therapeutic.
So you were saying that did I choose like a really good space, and you suggested that couples or people should get together in a spot and talk about things in their relationship in a forward, uplifting sort of way? We should.
Yes. And if you had to look at a relationship as if it was a business partnership, right? And it's interesting that we don't, because relationships or marriages, for example, any relationship, a long-term relationship, is actually one of the most important decisions you make for your career, for your success, is the person that you have in your life supporting you or pulling you down. Any type of confrontation affects your capacity to perform in other areas of your life. So the way that we deal with conflict or say things that we fear saying, or when we're defensive, when someone brings something up, it's just poor communication skills. And why would we do that with someone that's supposed to be the most important business partner, career partner, life partner, when you don't do it with your boss, you don't do it with your work colleagues, we'll do it with the people we love the most, which is outrageous, right? It should be the other way around. So if you treated it like the most important partnership and you put time aside to improve the relationship, if you look at it that way and you both come with points to discuss and say, hey, this is something that I would like to have in our relationship. I would like to have less of that, more of this. It's not accusatory at all. It's actually very positive.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to say something you don't want to say, because would you fear sharing that way if you knew that it was an upward and forward, well-received, planned discussion that was positive? Would you still have the fear?
No, I don't think so. However, you'd be used to communicating in a different way, wouldn't you? Like you would have established some sort of routine or something. Before you said, hey, did you bring that? Did I bring that at the end of the day after work and everything? Or you gave the example for yourself. It was like, hey, I'm switched off. I'm cooked at the end of the day. And you said, there'd be a better time to do it. So I was thinking that. I was thinking, well, in a typical person's day, when would it be better? Because if the evening's out and you've both skidded in from whatever you're doing, the work sort of stuff and a bit of sport with kids in the afternoons or something, when does that leave the morning? Now, I don't know if you want to start off the day with a real heavy conversation like that either and then race out the door. So then you've sort of tacked yourself onto, well, I've got the weekend if I'm in a, typical sort of work environment where I'm working Monday to Friday. Yeah, and most people fill their weekends up pretty largely with meeting with other people and, family things. So,
this should be a priority. Once a week.
I guess that's what you're saying, isn't it? There's a spot for it.
Yeah, because if you don't do it that way and you don't have those conversations like that, then you're going to have arguments during the week when you're fried.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because people become defensive, they get tired, they get irritated, and we under pressure in all other areas of our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight away, I can think of some couples that I know and who have what I would say are really healthy and successful, like business lives and relationships and families and everything. And I know that they sit down like on a Sunday afternoon and evening.
Yeah.
And they plan out like week, month ahead, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they just connect with each other then and they decide on some things. And I guess that's perhaps, I've never really asked them, but perhaps that's where those conversations come out.
Yeah. I think it's also about respect. So having the fear around saying something, how much respect do you have for that person and how much respect are you giving them? Because if you don't tell them, then they will continue to behave that way and you'll just get pissed off, right? You'll just resent them. And if you do tell them in a way that's heated and accusatory and they get defensive, that's not really fair either. That's also quite disrespectful.
Yeah.
So I think it also comes down to respecting whoever it is, your partner, your children, your friends, your parents, about bringing up something that you have a fear around saying in a way that is respectful. And preface it with that as well. So when you open that conversation, and this is why it's so important to be in a space where it's not, it's the emotions aren't fueled and people aren't already in an angry state, to be able to say, it's something that I learned in self-development workshops myself. I love you enough to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
And that's a statement. That's a statement that I've used myself.
Is there something you're not saying, Sam?
Yes. It's a statement I've used. you know, and that's something I'll say to my children. And we don't always get it right. You know, I sometimes will get irritated and say, I hate it when you do this, you know, and then everyone flies off the handle. So it's just about doing it as much as you can in the right way, in a respectful way. We aren't perfect. We don't always do it that way. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that I've learned a lot in the last few years around that communication part. And that's with all people, not just it's in all relationships. However, it's across, you know, colleagues you have or people you're dealing with in other businesses or, you know, the other charity sort of work I do or something, and sports people, that sort of thing. I've found that it's much easier now where I'm able to say to a person, hey, look, I don't know if I'm reading this right, because straight away I put myself in that position of like giving you an out almost.
That's a great way to do it.
Yeah, I may be wrong. Like, you know, hey, I don't know if I'm reading this right. Takes out all the finger pointing straight away.
You see, that would work on me. That would work on someone like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then they have a chance to explain.
Yeah. And
that's great.
Yeah. And then that way I'm able to say feelings as well without specifically saying I'm pissed off.
Right.
I can say, hey, look, I don't know if I'm reading this right. However, you know, when you made that call, this is what I saw or this is what I felt. Like, hey, the flow-on effect on that meant that, you know, for the next few days, my whole pattern was changed and I had to do X, X, and X. Like, you know, it really made a significant dent in where I thought we were heading on a project or something.
Right.
Yeah. And, so that's how I've sort of overcome the fear component. And that's how I've eliminated, to a certain extent, being too concerned about what the response or how that will be received. So can you run me through that whole, like, I've got to bring something up with someone and it's a sticky situation, like it's something, because I love getting along with everyone, right? And I don't like to offend people. And there's many other people in my
maybe we should look at that.
Yeah, okay.
Not wanting to offend people.
Well, I'm wondering, okay, what's going on in my head then?
Well, with offending people, because with that, you're going to offend people. It's going to happen, especially if you're someone that is virtuous and someone that is doing things that are aligned with good values and positivity, because not everyone's like that. So you're going to offend people that are not aligned with those values, that are not as virtuous, that are not as positive. You will offend them. And you need to accept that that's part of who you are. And that has nothing to do with you. That has to do with them. So a lot of people will be offended by things that you do because you are so positive and you do work that is so, you know, inspiring for the community. You will offend people. So that's something that you have to accept. It's not about you doing something wrong. Often it's actually about you doing what's right, and you're offending the people that are not living up to, you know, that delivery in the community and that form of self positivity or development. Whenever it's quite a typical response. You offend people, tall poppy syndrome, queen bee syndrome, etc. These are parts of life where when you do better than, or when you do something that makes other people feel uncomfortable, possibly because they're not living up to their potential, or possibly because they're not doing they're doing something that may be negative in the greater scheme of things, you will offend them. And that's got nothing to do with you. That's got to do with them. So that's something that I think everyone needs to realize as well. It's okay to have enemies.
Yeah.
It's okay to have enemies if those enemies are not aligned with positivity and virtue.
I was actually really surprised. Last year I did a big swim, and it was a really challenging one. And about a month after, one of the fellas who was there where we finished, he said to me, it was at a function, and he said, "You really piss me off." And I said, "Oh, what?" And I was like really taken back.
And you must have been upset.
He's a lovely
about
guy,
that.
and we get along. Yeah. And he said, you make me feel really bad, like I don't do enough myself.
That's right.
And that, and we were at this function, he was drinking a bit there
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and
The prefrontal cortex was off.
However, he was sort of displaying the many things that sort of hold him back from perhaps, being the person he wants to as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in my eyes, I thought, wow, you've accomplished a lot. You've emigrated to a different country. You've done a whole heap of things. You've raised your family here. You're pretty adventurous, and I love the line of work you're in, and and he's somewhat of a formidable force in that thing. However, he felt inadequate because he felt lazy, and he thought,
they get offended.
All I've done is been sitting around on the couch on the weekends and watching footy. And I was really taken aback because I thought, like myself, when I see other people do things, I get really inspired or motivated to do more. And he was just upset.
Yeah. Well, if you think of women that are pushing boundaries, I've experienced it many times in business where men don't like me. Men get offended when I'm around because I'm a woman. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not me. I'm irritating something in them. And that's okay. So to be comfortable with that and to know that there's no fear around what you're doing or what you're saying. It's something you're doing is irritating something inside of them.
Yeah. So I think you can pretty much establish that a lot of men would tiptoe on eggshells around bringing something up because when they have, there's been a negative response and they feel a bit attacked or something.
I think women have the same.
Bad. I was going to ask, how do women feel?
Absolutely.
When they want to bring something up?
I think it's human nature to tiptoe. I don't think that it's men may respond differently. So instead of getting, vocal and a bit emotional, men may become withdrawn and cold. So
can I give you one of the
one of your friends' examples?
No, this is off Reddit, and I think it was the most upvoted comment on this whole thread, and it was, if I'm not going to have sex for another week, I'm not bringing it up.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So men do the same thing. Men do the same thing. Men withdraw. And if their ego is put into question or their ego is dented, they withdraw and they become cold and non-affectionate and distant. So women also walk on eggshells. Absolutely. Yeah.
So why do people get concerned about saying things to, let's say, their boss or someone who may have power over them? Let's go work setting, because in midlife, you're going through these changes. And like we said at the beginning, hey, I think the filter comes off when you're a bit older. You've got a bit more experience and you're probably more comfortable saying exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
Now, in a workplace setting, that always doesn't go down too well.
No, and you know how I feel about that. I'm absolutely against having your workplace have that power over you. And I have spent my entire adult life working around having that noose around my neck.
Yeah.
Because I can't help saying things. I will say things not because I'm trying to inflict harm, not because I think I know better. I'm not that type of person. And that is something I was going to suggest earlier as well. A great way to approach conversations with your boss or with your partner or with anyone is to ask the question. Just ask a question. How did you feel that project went? Do you think everyone contributed equally? And let them give you the feedback. Questions are gold.
I'm writing these down in my head.
Yeah. So, for me, when it comes to things like ethics and values and specifically when it comes to developing other people and making sure that their work is valued and seen, I find it really difficult to work in spaces where ethics are, go under the table or when leaders take credit for teams' work or there's gossip within a workplace or things like that. So because I feel so strongly about it, I don't allow myself to be in a position where any boss has a noose around my neck.
Yeah.
And I will often say what I want to say or ask the question, as in, do you think this is ethical?
That's a good question. Yeah.
That is a good question.
You can't zigzag around that too
You
well.
can't. It either is or it isn't, right?
Yeah.
And then if it isn't, can you explain to me why we're doing it that way?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can say, well, you've just told me it's unethical. You've told me your reasons behind it, and I can let you know that I'm not comfortable with that. Yeah.
How would you feel if your mother found out about this?
I actually thought you were asking me that for a second, and I was like, well, can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I read something today, and maybe it was on Reddit too. I got buried in Reddit the other day, and it said something along the lines of, can a man explain anything at any time without it being mansplaining? That was a woman who wrote that.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure, of course.
Because it probably sounds patronising, right?
Yes.
Coming from a man.
I think anything a man says to a woman can sound patronising. Anything.
Oh, they're nice shoes. Oh, that's patronising, isn't it?
Could be. It could be. It depends on how the woman feels about you. Yeah.
Yeah, don't say it in an office space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, right. So I'm contributing all this and all you can talk about is my shoes?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's dangerous territory for men out there at the moment. I admit that for sure.
I think it has been my whole life. What are you talking about at the moment? Be careful.
Okay.
Now, I would say that still sings true for a lot of people
I think
in
that's
work, not only men, but a lot of people.
Absolutely, and for women. And I think that sings true for all areas of life. People, it's the way it's communicated. And it's unfortunately, there's two sides to communication, right? And unfortunately, it's not just the way you communicate it, it's the way it's received.
Is there a different way we should approach it in a workplace or a similar way? You suggested some time with, like, if it's your partner or someone you're heavily invested in the relationship with, where you have that space where you can talk.
Yeah, I think that leaders should have or create spaces of conversation for improvements, and that's when things like that should come up, and people should all contribute, and they should all have, once a week or once a month, those sort of meetings, and it should be a leadership understanding that all teams do that. That's a great way to bring things into a space. In the workplace, psychological safety is really important. So it actually is the leadership that needs to create a space where people can speak without fear of saying something that's going to get them into trouble. However, they also need to be able to teach their teams how to speak in a way that's respectful. So it goes both ways. You can't walk around saying whatever you want. You do need to say what you need to say in a respectful way so that we can work forward. So I think in a workplace, psychological safety is really important, and having teams that know how to communicate and creating space for communication. And that won't always work. That's just something that you can put in your arsenal that organizations can do. But in terms of what happens individually, in terms of what happens with regards to gossip and all of that, that's very difficult to control. That's an organizational culture thing. So, and that actually starts at the top.
Yeah. And for people who aren't leaders, like they don't have that designated official role within a workplace, there's really nothing stopping anyone from establishing that standard, is there?
No. That's something you would establish in yourself. So if you don't have a leadership role and you need to go and, there's something weighing on you, to be able to bring that up in a positive way with your colleagues or with your leader, that's the way to do it. You cannot wait for someone to give you that space. That's something, and that's in relationships as well. You need to take the initiative, because if you don't, it will come out. And that's why when you were saying you don't say you were holding back, and I said to you, how did that serve you? It will come out. It will come out in your behavior. It will come out in your emotions. It will come out somewhere, and then it will just, you'll vomit it out, right?
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's too late because the damage is done.
I think for people, it's sort of working on, it's not even working on, it is your sphere of influence. And I've seen many people in different organizations who don't have that designated role of being, you know, the manager at X level. However, they've shown themselves as leaders because they operate in a certain way. And certainly what I've seen is those people are generally seen as more dynamic, more able to get things done, and certainly get more cooperation through different areas of an organization or even, you know, outside of their organization with the people they deal with, other businesses or suppliers, service providers.
This fear behind saying what we really want to say, you know, and like I said, you and I had some good ones. It's really negatively impactful on us if we don't say those things, if we don't get them out. And if we don't have the work colleague or the boss or the partner that is able to receive that and be in that space where it's constructive, then you have to question that relationship. You know what I do? When I have something I want to say and I'm not sure whether to say it or not, I always sleep on things. Just one night.
Yeah.
Just sleep on it. And the next day, if it's as important, then I'll set some time aside to have that conversation in the next few days. Yeah. I really do suggest that.
Yes.
That works well for me because, you know, the tongue is sharp.
Don't respond quickly to that email.
No, no.
When that immediately gets you back up and you're like, yep, I'm going to respond straight away.
Yeah.
And you just like, I'll just park that.
Just park it.
Put it in draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just make sure you take out the email address before you push anything.
Absolutely.
Then you really have to consciously put it in and that's my response. I would encourage everyone to pose some questions on Reddit if they're looking for advice.
Please don't. Put comments. Comments and
So till next time, Between the Sheets, exploring everything midlife and everything in between.
See ya.